Welcome to UCF Imprint. I'm Alice Collier. Standing room only. That's what every sports team hopes to have at each event. Attendance plays a vital role in the overall success of a sport program. Boosting the turnout and maintaining such a crowd can be a real challenge for athletic directors, owners, and promoters. So how does a front office increase its ticket sales? Dr. Vincent Mumford, a UCF professor in the College of Education, has found an answer, in fact several solutions, and they are listed all in his book entitled Weapons of Mass Instruction, 100 Ways to Promote Your Sports Program. Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you.
Tell us about the title. I guess it's a play on words, huh?
Well, actually it is, and we all know the situation that dictated this. But it's interesting how this title came up. A colleague of mine, Professor Gerald Gergley, and myself, we were just sitting around thinking about doing this book. It came about, we were teaching a class on marketing, co-teaching together, and we went out and found the best book on the market, the best book, sports marketing. We asked our colleagues from all around the country, and they told us which books we should consider. Well, we used that book for the class the first time, and our students gave us some input, and what the input was is, we want more ideas. This book on theory is good, but we're actually in the field now. We're coaches, we're teachers, and we need something that can help us right now.
Something practical.
Something practical. And so that's how this book came about, and the title was meant to be funny. It was meant to grab your attention, but at the same time, this is something that you can go on and you can find some information.
So these weapons should hopefully increase the turnouts at sporting events.
These weapons will increase the turnout.
They will.
They will increase the turnout. Yes.
That's positive.
Yeah. We found that what every coach is looking for, or every sports marketer, they're looking for a silver bullet. They're looking for something that they can use right now that can change their situation. And so these are, in essence, just 100 silver bullets. If you use these, they will help increase your attendance.
Well, you know, marketing a sporting event today is so different than, let's say, what, 20 years ago?
Yes. Well, it's quite different. And you see it used to be just the big time programs that even had the staffing, the resources to put on the big marketing. But now you see it at every level. You see it not only at the major Division I programs, the professional programs, but even the high school programs, you know, need to market. And especially here in the Central Florida area, where there's so much competition for your dollar. You know, anytime a family can choose to, there's so many things they can choose to do. And what would make them come to your event as opposed to going to Disney or going to another event, going to any one number of the colleges around here. So you have to find something that can make your event special.
Now tell me, I understand why you would want to market, you know, a college event or certainly a professional at the professional level, but high school, tell me about that, because I don't understand that.
Well,
they have a built-in clientele.
You would think they do, but it's like you said, sports have changed a lot since at least since I was in school. When I was in school, the high school event, high school football, high school basketball, that was the event in the town. Mm-hmm. Today, again, there's so many other things that are going on. You know, when I played high school sports, that was the only thing on a Friday night was high school football. And so everybody in the town, that was the collective place where everybody went. Now it's different. There's so many other things that kids can do and kids choose to do, that families can do and families choose to do. And if you look at this area especially, there's so many things that families can do.
I understand, Vincent, it's important for a school to have a high attendance, to have people support the team. But tell me how important it is.
Oh, it's vital, because that's what people use as measurement. Say, for example, you want to solicit a sponsor. And even at high schools now, they're getting sponsorships. You see in the gymnasium.
That's unreal. It must be to you.
I mean, well, I was just talking to a colleague yesterday, and even the types of foods that they serve in the cafeterias have changed. But if you go to any high school gymnasium,
fast food. They didn't
exactly.
do that in mine.
No, not at all. But if you go to any high school gymnasium now, you see either Coke or Pepsi. And they're usually sponsors of that athletic program. And one of the questions they will always ask you before they give you money is, how many people attend your events? So because they want to get a return on investment. What will I get back in return? How many people will be exposed to my product? And so that's the reason. That answers your question.
Read some of your instruction here. There are 100 ways.
100 ways, and that's a lot. Okay, I'll take one for example. One is market your mascot. And it says mascots are a symbol of fun and embodiment of school spirit. They make great ambassadors. And what I want you to think about here is the kids. And if you can get the kids to come to an event, then you can get the parents. If you could have just imagined Disney, you think of Mickey Mouse, the mascot. I don't know if you remember the Jolly Green Giant.
Oh, of course.
But I used to eat my vegetables because of the Jolly Green Giant.
That's right.
And so if you have, and Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
And you think of fun, you think of kids, and that's the same concept. We have, our mascot is named Nitro, and we do a charity event each year called Hoops Against Hunger, and we invite Nitro to be a part of that because kids love mascots. And the first time we had that, Nitro came, the kids literally mobbed the mascot. They stopped what we were doing. They saw the mascot. They ran to the mascot.
Poor mascot.
The poor mascot. Yes. I mean, they're just attracted naturally to mascots.
Yeah. It seems so simple, though.
Well, those, if you think about it, those are the best ideas. The simple ones. And a lot of times, organizations, what we fail to do is ask the people on the front line for their ideas. And these came about because Professor Gergley and myself have had a number of years in sports marketing in the field of sports. But certainly at any institution, any organization, you can ask any of the people who deal with athletic sports on a daily basis, and they have some ideas that could possibly help market their program.
It reminds me in journalism school we have a saying called KISS. Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Exactly. And that's what we tried to do. I mentioned earlier that when we first started teaching the class, we asked what was the best textbook out there. And the feedback that we got from our students was, this is good, but I need something that I can use, which was keep it simple. So they wanted real ideas that could work today, give them to me in a format that I can use. And this is something that they can take with them, keep in their briefcase or pocketbook, and refer back to it.
Read another one for me.
Okay, let's see. Turn on the tunes. Get a band disc jockey to play live music during the sporting event. There's a certain power, a certain energy in music. And what we found, and now you'll see it at most sporting events, even events like the Super Bowl, you see that they incorporate music because music is lively, music entertains people, and music motivates people. So no matter what level, whether it be high school, college, if you turn on the tunes, and you can use students, at a college or university, if you want to attract more students, get some students to play music. Get some student band, somebody that's popular, and this can help increase your attendance.
It's funny because when I go to some of the basketball games, when the music dies out or something, it seems a little boring.
Right, it's called a dead spot, and that's what you try to avoid. It's essentially entertainment. And if you go to an Orlando Magic game, that's a good example. They always try to have something that entertains the fans. So no matter what's happening on the court, the fans still feel entertained. And so if they hear lively music, and you think about it, you can hear a tune that can take you back to a certain great time in your life. And that's the whole goal, is to keep you entertained.
And that's not distracting to the players or the coaches?
Oh, no, they're not distracting at all. They've seen it so much, and it's been such a part of the experience that they're just used to it. They're just used to it.
Well, I have a couple I want to ask you about.
Okay.
Let me get a sponsor, which you talked about, to help offset the cost of the program, operations, promotions, and marketing by getting a sponsor. Seek to create mutual beneficial relationships. Don't just ask for money, providing tangible benefits for sponsors. Get a millionaire to sponsor your program.
Right.
You're serious about that?
I am very serious. I'm very serious. Well, first of all, the number one issue with every sports program is money. Well, almost every sports program is money. And if you ask, what are your immediate needs? Money. And so the easiest way to offset that is to get a sponsor. Now, Professor Gurgley actually he started the wrestling program at UCF. And one of the things he did was he went out to get a sponsor to help offset his costs, because you know that there are sometimes budget issues with sports programs. And so he went to get a sponsor, and this sponsor just happened to be a millionaire. But you can do this with any sponsor. It can be, a beverage sponsor, and you want to create a win-win situation. So don't just look at it as how much money do I need, how much can I get, but look at it more in terms of what can I do for my sponsor? And if I can meet my sponsor's needs, then I'll get a benefit from the sponsor.
Okay, let's take like an average high school. How does somebody at that level go and find a sponsor that's a millionaire? How do you go out and solicit sponsors?
Good question. And this is how you do it. You think about high schools and the number of teams they have. And what's important for a coach is to get to know your players. Families like to be involved in the sports programs, sometimes too much. Yeah. But eventually, there's some student whose parent either knows somebody or knows of somebody that knows somebody, or who is, part of a big company. And I'll give you an example. In my sports marketing class this past semester, we had a student whose mother worked for Coca-Cola. Was a company exec for Coca-Cola. I did not know this at the beginning of class, but we were doing this charity event, and I gave each of the students a committee assignment. And this student said, well, I'll be on the marketing committee. And just casually said, my mother works for Coca-Cola and I can get you anything you need. That's how it's done. In every school, there's somebody's parents like that.
So then it's up to the coach really to try to get to know these families and
get to know the families of the children, yes. Because they're going to get to know you, and they're going to get involved in the program and how come my kid doesn't play more and things like that. But get them involved, get them to help you. Tell them what you're trying to accomplish, what are your goals, and get to know them. And if they're not millionaires, somebody knows a millionaire.
Somebody knows somebody. That
6 degrees of separation.
That's what I was going to say. You took that from me, took that line. Okay, let me read another one. Alongside some of all of your weapons of instruction, you have a discussion and idea page. Why is that?
Well, this is an idea book. And so the purpose of that is to make people not only just say, this is the silver bullet, I'm going to take this idea and go out and use it, but to be critical thinkers. Now, because what works at UCF may not work exactly the same way at another school, maybe a high school, but how can it be tweaked? How can it be twisted to fit my environment? And so that's what that page is. Think critically about your specific situation. Let's talk about it and let's write down ideas. What sponsors do you know? Mm-hmm. Well, make a list of all the sponsors you know, or the parents. What do the parents of your kids do? Make a list, and so it gets you brainstorming in essence.
Mm-hmm. So use it like a workbook.
Exactly, use it like a workbook.
You have number 46, give an award. A good way to get name recognition and positive publicity is to give or sponsor an award. Give a teacher, coach, or student of the year award. How do you think the Heisman Trophy got started? Well, how did it get started?
Well, the Heisman Trophy got started from a guy named John Heisman, who was a football coach. And the idea is, if you give something, you ultimately get something back in return. So, and you see some of the big awards, the John Wooden Award in basketball. Well, John Wooden was a great coach for many years at UCLA. And now, a lot of publicity. The Heisman Trophy. A lot of the people that receive it have no idea where it came from, but there's a lot, national recognition for this award. Now, you don't have to necessarily get national recognition, but you can get local recognition also by giving an award of somebody in your local community.
I'm sure you have had people try these. Do you have any success stories that you can share with us?
I have a great success story. I have a great success story. Number 56, hold a break the attendance night. And this was a situation where when I was an athletic director, my first day on the job, and talking to the administration, they were telling me that, well, sports, not many people come. So what are you going to do about that? We only get about 50 people at our basketball games. And I went to talk to the coaches and said, hey, coach, you don't get anybody at your games. What gives? And the coach said, well, we get more people than that, but I have some ideas. Nobody had ever asked the coach for any ideas, and so they never got any input. Well, I sat down, to make a long story short, and talked to the coach, and we came up with this idea called Jam the Gym. And the goal was to break the all-time attendance for that college. What happened is we not only broke the all-time attendance for that college, but we broke the all-time attendance for the conference, for the entire conference. And yes, I mean, the people were just spilling over. And at the same time, the administration...
That's standing room only.
That's where it came from, standing room only. And the administration was so impressed. But leading all up to it, you had a lot of naysayers, people saying, we just don't get that many people. That'll never work. But it does work if you
try new things.
If you try new things and if you implement some of these ideas.
Now, how did you go about breaking that attendance? I'm sure it didn't happen overnight.
No, it did not happen overnight, and the coaches were critical because, again, who do they know? But we went to local schools. We did a combination of a lot of these. We included music, so we included things that got the students involved. We put together a student committee and asked them for their ideas. The mascot, we employed the mascot, so that got the young students involved. But some of the key things that we did is we invited high school groups to come to the event. For example, color guard. So whenever people come, they bring other people. Dance squad from a high school. Cheerleaders. Well, if you invite one high school, if another high school hears about it, they want to come also. So we invited several high school cheerleading groups, and they performed at halftime.
And parents like to come to see their children.
Parents came, parents brought their younger kids, and so it just kind of escalated. And before we knew it, we had standing room only in the gymnasium. But we just invited different groups to come out, and we kind of featured those groups. So we made it seem like it was more about them than it was about us. So for the dance teams, we made them feel like this was their night. And for the color guard, we're featuring you. And we had TV to come out, and of course it was on TV, which was new to that college also. And so it was just a big affair.
Now, what did the coaches say? Here they go. Here they have like 50-some people attending, and then to, busting open the gym.
Right. Well, coaches loved it, of course, and they got a lot of notoriety from it.
I'm sure.
And it was something that they felt good about because they were included from the beginning in putting it together, and it was something that they wanted to do continually. Because it showed the administration that, hey, we are important. This is what we can bring to the college. And so they just had a great sense of self-worth, and it was something that they wanted to continue.
How about, in there's one about contest, having different contests. What kinds of contests can people have?
Okay, I'll give you an example. And this is something where you can involve your sponsor. Remember I was talking about how can your sponsor benefit. Now I'll give an example. We wanted to get a local pizza company to become a sponsor of our athletic program. So we tried to create a unique contest that would involve that sponsor in our programs. So what we decided to do was come up with a contest kind of like the hot and cold contest you remember when we were kids, and you're getting hotter if you get closer to this. Well, what we did was we used a
now you have to explain that for those.
Okay, hot and cold. Hot and cold is you put an object, say this book, you put this book somewhere around on the floor, and you blindfold the person, and if they get closer, you say you're getting hotter, you're getting hotter. As they get farther away, you say you're getting colder.
Right.
Well, this is what we did. We took a slice of pizza, it was a picture of a slice of pizza, and we put it on the gymnasium floor. And we got fan interaction by having the fans be the ones that say you're getting hotter, you're getting colder. We picked a fan, blindfolded that fan, and just kind of put them on the floor somewhere. And it was up to the crowd to direct them within a certain time period, like 30 seconds, to that slice of pizza. And if they got that slice of pizza, then they got slice of pizza for a certain section of people.
Oh, my.
So, of course, a lot of fun.
Oh,
a lot of fun.
I bet it was hysterical.
It was hysterical. It was loud. The sponsor loved it. The fans loved it. But that's just one activity of creating a unique contest to get everybody involved.
So it's just brainstorming.
Just brainstorming, and which is something that I think more people need to do. And this book is based on that, just generating ideas and then getting you to brainstorm about them.
Now, if you try a contest like that and it doesn't initially work, do you tweak it or you just throw it out and try something else?
Well, you can do both. You know, the definition of insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. But first you want to try to see why it didn't work and then hopefully tweak it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you can, it's just a matter of tweaking it. For example, if you attend, say, there are a lot of ideas that you can get from major league sports, say the Orlando Magic or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, some of the things they do, or the Predators here in Orlando. They do a lot with sports marketing because they have a lot more resources, a lot more people involved. Well, you may take an idea that they have, but you may have to tweak it just a little to get it to work in your high school or in your smaller college where you don't have as many resources or as many people involved on the ground to help make that happen.
Okay, Vincent, here's one for you. What do you do about, you have these great ideas, but your team is awful?
Okay, that's a good question because we all know your greatest marketing tool is winning.
Hey, that's right.
The greatest marketing tool is winning. But what you try to do is you try to establish an atmosphere so no matter how your team is doing on the field or the court, that the fans are still entertained. And what we talk about in here is to wow them, to do something that makes them, when they leave, say, wow, we really enjoyed our time at that event. And if you can do that, sometimes they won't even think about what's going on the court. If you can give them that sense of wow. And if you take the example of that pizza contest, that was a wow moment. That was a wow moment for the crowd. That was a wow moment for the people that won the pizza in the stands, for the person on the floor. That was a wow moment. They'll remember that.
Well, and it seems like reading your instruction book that you're targeting every level. You're going after families to get mom and dad as well as the children hooked. Exactly.
Now, we're not targeting every level, but we're targeting more. Our market is more of college and high school levels. College and high school levels is our main target audience. Professional levels, that's a little different. But we can certainly take ideas and steal ideas wherever you can, but we're mainly targeting the college market, the high school market.
Tell me this. Are there more than 100 ways? Are you going to come up with another book on this?
Okay, that was actually a big fight because when we sat down and developed these, I think we came up with like 167 ways, and we fought tooth and nail to say which ones would go in the book. And I said to Professor Gergley, well, those can go in the next book, just to get some of the ones that I wanted in the book. But we certainly do have more ideas, and what we hope to get from this are ideas from people out there in the field. Say, you're a coach at a high school or at a college or an administrator, and you have an idea that worked. When we're talking about this, you can tell us that, and maybe that gets in the next book. Who knows?
Well, what I think is interesting is that we are all, as Americans, I think, we're so into bullet points and the number of ways, and it certainly is a hook to have 100 ways. I mean, because we want quick, fast ideas that we can go out and implement, and yours does that.
Exactly. When we think about it, whenever you go to a conference and you're trying to learn things, my philosophy has always to have been, if I can just take away one thing from this conference that I can go back and implement in my program, then I feel it's worth the money that we paid. It's a success. Well, here you have 100 ways, and they don't leave you just because you leave that conference. You can take these 100 ways and refer back to them anytime you want to. So that's why I think this is.
Okay, Gerald's not here, so give us one that was cut out that you wanted to put in.
Oh, he's not here. He's not here. He's looking.
Here.
Well, we cut out some of his. Mine I negotiated.
Okay. I
negotiated a lot of mine, but we cut out some of his, and I can't think exactly what they are. I'm gonna have to save those for the next book. but I try to negotiate some of mine by saying, hey, those are good ideas for the next book.
Tell me what some of your students think about this.
Actually, the students love it for the same points that you mentioned earlier, because it is a quick and easy resource that they can use. I mean, you can literally just close your eyes and turn a page and point to an idea and say, how does this apply to me? And that's the main thing they like. They like the fact that it's portable, that it's quick and easy, that they can just find an idea that relates to them and go out and use it.
Yeah, that's what I plan to give this to my my son's high school and let the coaches take a look at it, because I think it's some real useful information that you can go ahead and implement without a whole lot of money.
Exactly, and that was one of the ideas, is that these are things that you can use. You know, if your program does not have a lot of resources, you know, you're not the Tampa Bay Bucks or the Orlando Magic, but any program can use these ideas. Youth programs can use these ideas. These are just quick ideas, the silver bullets that you can use at any level.
Well, and also, you know, we think of, because we're in Orlando and have so many television outlets, that if a team is not on television all the time, or it's promoted, or they have commercial or airtime, that they're not going to be successful. But these are some really grassroots things that people can use to hopefully get those attendance records that burst the gym, and then they will be on television.
Exactly. And some of the ideas in here are exactly that. How do you get more exposure? I mean, some of those ideas are in this book, ways that you can use to get more exposure. Professor Gergley, when he came here, there was no wrestling program in the Orlando area, and so he had to come up with ways to generate exposure for himself. And one of the stories he tells is that how every single week he used to write his own articles and send them into the Orlando Sentinel, and every week he'd look, hey, where is it? And every week he'd be disappointed until finally, you know, one week it appeared, and he called the sports editor up and said, hey, why'd you put my article in this time? And the sports editor told him that you were just so persistent. You know, you just, every week I would get things from you, and you were just so persistent. And so they established a relationship, and that's how he started getting information in the newspaper.
Well, Vincent, I'm afraid that'll have to be the last word. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
and
for
again, the book is called Weapons of Mass Instruction, 100 Ways to Promote Your Sport Program. That's our program for now. Thanks for watching UCF in Print. I'm Alice Collier. Until next time, goodbye.